Hello gems and welcome back to the Syafire Star. Today we're going to talk about an experiment I did a few months ago with a program/platform called Restream, which allows you to stream on over 30 platforms at once. I only streamed on a few at once, but I want to give you a little bit of my experience on restreaming on both YouTube and Twitch. So streaming on them at the same time, how that affected me, my audience, my growth, and what I think the pros and the cons are of Restream and whether or not I think that you should be streaming to multiple platforms at the same time and if it's even worth it. We're gonna cover all that in today's video, but hey, if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button because apparently I have a beautiful singing voice. But yeah, I've sang live a few times over on Twitch and everybody loves Riptide, my cover of it. At 20K, we're gonna be doing a cover of Riptide, so make sure you help support that goal by hitting that subscribe button. All right, let's get into the video. So we're gonna do a little hop back and forth to pros and cons so we get a little bit of mix, you know, so we're not being too negative. We're not being a bunch of Karens over here, but we're also like trying to talk about the good stuff too, so let's get into it. The number one pro, let's start with the positive note of restreaming, is that it's really great because you should be making the most of your time while live streaming. Restream allows you to make the most of your live streams by streaming on multiple platforms at once. So if you are a YouTuber and you also do Twitch streams and you also have a Facebook page and maybe you want to try streaming on some other platforms beyond just Twitch and YouTube, that's awesome because the more reach that you have, essentially the more people you can bring in and the more audience that you can have. Now, as I mentioned in lots of my other videos and on the VTuber Voices podcast, it's very important that you are making discoverable content on YouTube, but also that you're connecting with your YouTube audience in live streams, because I've met a lot of my YouTube audience through live streaming that I can't connect quite the same way in comments. And one of the issues I was running into early on was, well, I guess I'm streaming on Twitch on this day and streaming on YouTube on this day, but then when I tried restreaming, it allowed me to bring those things together. So it's really great to expand to multiple audiences and to increase your reach. Now let's hop over to the first con, which is that you can, well, I guess this is a little bit of a pro and a con, you can set it up so that your YouTube chat can read what your Twitch chat is saying or vice versa. You can have a way to set up and have all the chats intermingling. But the really annoying part about this is you have a bot in your chat called Restream Bot that is saying what user on YouTube is saying or what user on Twitch is saying. And it looks really spammy. It just looks kind of gross and it doesn't look great. And I've actually had people complain about it before where they're like, bro, this Restream Bot is just so annoying. So that can create a little bit of discomfort for your audience and it can make them maybe not feel as connected because they feel like you're more disconnected from the platform relating to them when you're streaming on multiple platforms at once. So that is something to keep in mind. But number two, on the pros side of things, the nice thing about restreaming too is that you can bring your audiences together. I've actually had a lot of people on YouTube talk to people on Twitch and they started intermingling with each other when I was restreaming. I was like, oh, that's cool. Now this person on my YouTube channel knows this person on my Twitch channel. Because they're two very different audiences for me, it was interesting to see my YouTube audience and my Twitch audience talk with each other and become friends in that way, which is cool because then you can create a really nice mixed sort of pot of your community members so there's not such a big disconnect between YouTube content and Twitch content. Now let's go back to the cons. Con number two, exclusivity that Twitch may or may not be getting rid of. Well, technically, if you stream on Twitch and you're affiliated, you're actually technically not allowed to be streaming on two platforms at the same time and showing the same content within 24 hours of the other. Now, I broke this rule. I will admittedly say, yeah, I broke this rule. And again, some of my other YouTube friends also broke this rule with me because we think that exclusivity is totally outdated and needs to be moved on because we want to bring together all of our audiences in one spot. So I did it anyways, never got an email from Twitch because Twitch really doesn't care that much about me. I'm always saying this because I'm like been trying to get partnered on Twitch for like ever. And I feel like if I keep saying they don't care about me, that like maybe they'll pay attention to me, maybe. But yeah, I never got warned for it. I never got in trouble for it. So if you're doing something like that and you're affiliate, know that that is a risk you're taking. But I think as content creators, we need to be leading against these companies and we need to stand up and stand for what we believe in and what kinds of content we want to produce if we ultimately think it's better for the movement of content creation as a whole. So you do have to be careful with exclusivity as a con if you are unsure about restreaming. Now for the third pro, it helps your audience realize that you do more than one thing. You would be surprised that a lot of your audience on different platforms don't realize that you are doing something else elsewhere. I've had a lot of people come into Twitch and not know that I make YouTube content, and I've had a lot of people on my YouTube content not know that I stream on Twitch, even though I've talked about it 100 times, even though I have literally overlays that always pop up everywhere 1,000 times, sometimes people still just haven't understood that yet. And it's important for us to be able to teach that user behavior as a content creator to say, hey, like I do make YouTube content for you to use as free resources, or hey, I do go live on Twitch and you should check me out because that's a really great place for you to get your questions answered. It helps bring all your audiences together, which again just creates a closer family. My finger just got stuck in my mic. It's nice to be able to bring that family together and to create a full sort of sense of unity and harmony within your multiple platforms that you're on. And it helps promote your other products and your other things and your other spaces, which is really good for you as a creator and again for the audience, because if there is a problem somebody is having and they watch your live streams and they would want to watch from a content creator they know, you can point them in the direction of your YouTube channel. And if you're live streaming on both, again, it can bring people over to follow you on Twitch and people to go subscribe to you on YouTube, which is awesome. Con number 3 is spamming bots. Oh my gosh. We all know those wonderful people that come into chat like, yo, you wanna become famous? Yeah, we know what we're talking about. And all the YouTube bots that are out here like spamming into the middle of the daylight. Like, bro, get out of here. It's so annoying because when you have to manage dealing with bots, now you have to manage it on multiple platforms, which can get really crazy really quickly. And that'll actually lead us into our 4th con, which is spreading your mods across multiple platforms can be an issue as well. Like, oh, I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch. Where should I put my mods, on YouTube or on Twitch? And they can mod a little bit in Restream, but it's not the greatest, and we'll get more into that as well. But your mods can get spread a little thin too, which is another negative about all this, to deal with the bot shenanigans that goes on. The technology overall for Restreaming right now is just not good. It's just not good. It's just not good. It's not great. So I'm really hoping that as we see live streaming is becoming a lot more popular because of TikTok, Twitch, YouTube live streaming, there's a lot of noise around the live streaming communities right now. I'm hoping that there will be some things in place to create more opportunities for Restreaming to be smoother, because I can see this truly being the direction of the future for streamers to be able to bring all their audiences together in one place. And I'm really hoping to see developments in this. And right now the technology is just not supporting it wonderfully. So the last pro is it's nice to Restream because again, you can have everything in one spot. If there's a concept or news or things you're talking about, instead of having to cover it over here and over there and over here and over there, it brings all your audience once more into a singular spot where you can connect with them and to present the same material to them, which is also really good. So lots of pros, lots of cons. Now let's talk about when I think you actually should Restream. We got the pros and the cons out of the way. When should you Restream? Well, for the first thing I think of when you should Restream is if you want to create a really big event that you want to bring as many eyes and attention to as possible. For example, if you're doing a 12-hour stream celebration because you hit a certain mileage on YouTube or on Twitch, I think Restreaming is a really great time to do that because you want to make the most out of, if you're going to be streaming for 12 hours, like you might as well be streaming on all the platforms and bringing all the attention to it. And plus, if you're saying like, oh, streaming and celebrating 20,000 subscribers over on YouTube, then people on Twitch will be like, oh, you have a YouTube for 12 hours. And then they didn't know that you had a YouTube channel, which again can create that cross promotion that we talked about earlier. Next, when should you Restream? I think that no matter where you're at in your journey, you should try Restreaming. Restreaming is worth trying regardless of the pros and cons that I listed above, because I personally learned a ton from it. It was a really cool moment for me as a creator and as a business owner to see what Restreaming and streaming to multiple audiences did for my business and what it did for my communities, to see them connect. It was a very unique experience, and a lot of the community was interested in it as well, and like hearing the experiment and the feedback, which is why I'm making this video. So I think you should try it regardless of the pros and cons and see what kinds of things you run into. And if there's any pros or cons that you've noticed already and have done live streaming or things you're worried about, please drop it down in the comments, because I'd love to have a conversation with you and hear your thoughts. And my conclusion for if you're brand new to streaming, you're like, oh, but Saya, like I'm brand new, like what should I be Restreaming then? I personally think that you should just start with one platform so you can get used to and understand live streaming before you move on to live streaming on another platform, because it's going to be too much for you to manage at once. I would just recommend starting with one. So let's talk about my conclusion. Where have I come to? What am I doing now after trying out Restreaming, and why am I doing that? So currently I actually stream on Twitch for 2 days a week, and I stream on Saturday on YouTube 1 day a week. And that's how I started before I started doing Restreaming, is I had a mix of that schedule. Personally, I don't like the technology that supports restreaming right now, so I kind of cut it off for me because the cons were a little bit annoying to deal with, and I just felt like in the long run, I wasn't going to be doing it. It doesn't mean I'll never restream. There might be specific events or times where I do restream, for example, a 12-hour stream, but I'm not going to be doing it on the regular as for right now. But again, that might change as the technology develops, but that's where my heart personally sits with it. And now the next question you're probably thinking is, but if I'm choosing to stream then Saya, should I stream on YouTube or should I stream on Twitch? I'm not really sure which one is better to be streaming on. Well, you're in luck because I actually have a video for that you can go watch right now. And I hope that all of these tips have been super valuable for you and that you learned something new today. And hey, if you learned something new, make sure you hit that thumbs up to get this out to more people to learn. I'll see you next time on the Sapphire Star. Bye!